Hello, welcome to What Caregivers Need to Know by eCareDiary.com. I'm your host, Susan Baida. I'm the co-founder, and I'm very excited to talk to you today about advocacy for the working caregiver. I have a very special guest, Jeff Weinberg.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And Jeff is the founder of Senior Assistance, a geriatric advocacy agency, and he has more than 25 years of healthcare experience, and he has recently received a certificate in patient advocacy from the Professional Patient Advocate Institute certificate program. You can find out more about Jeff and his company on his website, which is www.seniorassistanceadvocate.com. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
So tell us about the plight of the working caregiver. This is a very, I feel this is a subject that has a lot of attention of late, and tell us about the working caregiver.
The plight of the working caregiver is enormous. Currently, there are 40 million people in the United States that are caregivers, of which over 15 million are working caregivers. And these working caregivers have to take care, obviously are working full-time. They have to take care of their own families, and they have to take care of the loved one who needs the help that they need. They are constantly stressed to the max and have very little time for themselves. Because of their stress, they are usually end up getting sicker, have depression, have anxiety, and they lose productivity both in the home and at work. The working caregiver is often called part of the sandwich generation. And in the sandwich generation, what we're talking about again is here, this person is just in the middle of everything. They are, again, having to take care of themselves, but they have to take care of their family at home, and they also have to take care of their loved one.
And their family at home being not only their parent, but also perhaps children.
Yeah, absolutely. They're children, so they're going in different directions all the time. The toll that this places on these family working caregivers is tremendous. It's not only emotional, but it's financial, it's time. They never have enough time for themselves. I actually have a 92-year-old mother-in-law who we moved from Florida, and she's pretty healthy, and yet even though she's here now, we now have to take time to take care of her. So we take her shopping, we take her to doctor's appointments, take her to the beautician, whatever, and it's taking time away from us. There was a book that was written called The 36-Hour Day by Dr. Mace.
I have to read that.
And it's about someone who is a working caregiver who's taking care of her mother who has Alzheimer's. And again, the whole premise is that the caregiver feels like every day just never ends. It just is continuous, and they're working a 36-hour day.
And I think I just would also like to clarify for the audience that the working caregiver is basically, when you're referring to a working caregiver, we're not necessarily talking about professional caregivers. We're talking about a family caregiver who's employed and has the responsibilities of caring for loved ones at home.
Yeah, absolutely. What we were talking about is the caretaker.
Caretaker. So let's talk about, so how does this affect, we know you've explained to us how this affects the employee, the working caregiver. How does it affect the employer?
Well, it also affects the employer by how it does affect the employee. The employee typically has more absenteeism, more tardiness, and a condition which we call presenteeism. which means that the employee is present during the workforce, but really their mind is somewhere else. Most employees have taken about 30 days off a year that are working caretakers. So this again causes a tremendous problem in the workforce. 20% of the working caretakers have to go on leave of absence, and a number of the caretakers have to quit their job full-time. If they quit their job, they have lost in wages and in benefits somewhere in the neighborhood of $310,000. Now, in terms of the company, obviously, you can see that you have employee turnover, you have to retrain people, you have loss of productivity, and it's figured that right now that the company itself is losing between absenteeism, tardiness, and lost wages somewhere about $1,200 per employee per year.
That's astounding. Jeff, thank you so much for sharing this background on the plight of the working caregiver and how it impacts employers. I know that there are a number of programs that might help the company that the employee can use, I guess, programs to help employees during this situation. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, sure. The first thing, though, is that the company has to recognize they have a problem. And in about 50% of the time, the company's employees are afraid to even mention that they have a problem because of retaliation.
Sure.
But once the company realizes they have a problem, then there's a number of things they can do. And some of those things have to do with flex time, telecommuting, where they can work from home. They can also, which is a very innovative program, set an adult daycare program right where the company is, just like they would do for a children's daycare program. They also would provide support services, information and referral, and things like that, so that the company, the employee has the ability to get the help they need at work as well as at home.
Jeff, thank you. I think we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'd love to have you back. If you want to learn more about the working caregiver and more information about Jeff, his site is seniораssistanceadvocate.com. Thank you very much, and join us for our next show.
Thank you.